Welcome to module number 4, where we are going to cover the capitalization of borrowing costs in this module. This module is pivotal in understanding how to treat borrowing costs in the context of qualifying assets. Let's break it down. First things first, that we need to understand when should we commence the capitalization process of the borrowing cost. IAS number 23 mandates the borrowing costs should be capitalized during the period in which the entity incur the expenditures on qualifying assets. But when does this period begin? So this is the question that we need to answer now. It kicks off when the activities are undertaken to prepare the asset for its intended use or sale. Now, what will be the situation if the asset is going to be completed substantially? So the next question is when capitalization should stop. So the journey of the capitalization continue until the asset is substantially ready for its intended use or sale. This signifies the point where major activities are complete and the asset is in essence a good to go. But what if the asset is going to be completed in parts? So according to IAS number 23, if a qualifying asset is partially completed while the borrowing costs continue on the borrowed amount, the capitalization of borrowing costs should cease. It's a straightforward principle. No active development, no capitalization. So imagine a company building a warehouse. After completing the first phase, they decide to put the project on hold for a while. During this period of inactivity, still bank charges borrowing cost on the borrowed amount, right? The bank will not stop charging us the borrowing cost. So as per IAS number 23, the capitalization of borrowing cost would stop during this part completion phase. Now let's move on to the suspension. If there is a temporary pause in the construction or production of qualifying assets, but borrowing costs continue to be incurred, the capitalization process should continue. This emphasizes the importance of active development as long as the project is moving forward. Even with interruptions, the borrowing costs are still capitalized. So as an example, consider a situation where a company is developing a new software product. Due to unforeseen technical challenges, the project experiences a temporary suspension of 3 months. Despite the pause, the company is actively working to overcome these challenges, and borrowing costs are still being incurred. In this case, and as per IAS number 23, the capitalization of the borrowing cost should continue during the suspension period. Now, it's important to understand the delicate balance here. If there is no further development or borrowing costs are not being incurred, capitalization should cease. On the other hand, if the project is still actively progressing, even with temporary interruptions, borrowing costs should continue to be capitalized. So to summarize this section, part completion and suspension in the context of IAS number 23, these paragraphs guide us on when to stop and when to continue capitalizing the borrowing costs during the interruptions in the construction or production of qualifying assets. It's all about aligning financial reporting with the active development of assets and ensuring accuracy and transparency in our financial statements. Now, in order to be eligible for capitalization, the asset must be actively developed. This means that there should be ongoing necessary activities. If there is a temporary delay due to external factors, it's okay as long as the project is actively moving forward. Active development is a critical criterion here in this subject, because this ensures that we are not capitalizing costs on projects that are stagnant or experiencing prolonged delays. This concept aligns with the idea that borrowing costs should be linked to assets in the process of being made ready for their intended use.